So we go to Tactical Brigade with Tarzan. So this list I actually have the changes for the points increase here. So before you're like this list is all over the place. Sorry, this list is dead. Let's just talk about the point changes. That way you would know what kind of changes here and how much this really changes from if you were to run it in more. DACA for example. So this list has a 70-point increase since the data slate that has dropped today. So we have Big Mac in Mega Armor, followed by two Big Macs with shock attack guns, Gazgul Thraka, a mech, and then two war bosses. This was crazy heavy characters. We'll see if he feels the need for the individual mech, for example. Of course, I know that you want to use this for the battle. You can give it for the battle wagon to make a shoot. You can end up using one of the trucks to enjoy firing deck, and you can give out orders, but you already have Gaz. I'm sure you can make it work without him. And then you just, you can find some more points after that. It's pretty nice. Two 5-man units of Storm Boys, two trucks, a battle wagon, one big brick of flash kits, Gretchen, a 5-man looter squad, two mega knobs, two 5-man units of knobs, and then three tank buster squads. So if we were being lazy right off the bat, you can drop a mech and a looter unit. You do lose a little bit of scoring assets, but you still have the core of what this list is. You just have to be more careful with your Storm Boys and your trucks, for example. But you very much could keep running stuff. It would just be hitting you on secondaries. I personally would probably drop a wagon, but this list still very much has legs. And something like Tank Busters really just cared about one order. They didn't really require two. The knobs did appreciate two because they would give themselves stealth and maybe +1 strength. But if it's outside of the WA, you don't need to give yourself +1 strength, so you just ignore stealth and cover nonetheless. So this list is still very much has played. Gasgul Thraka obviously didn't change, but if you were to flip this to more DACA, that could also be interesting as well. Like I said, there's only a 70-point change. So yeah, so he had two war bosses for the knobs, three tank busters for the shock attack guns, and then one of those tank busters could probably end up being given orders from the mech solo if he jumped out of the vehicle at the same time. Possibly given orders in that kind of way, just because he couldn't afford stuff. Could use it as reserve, or you could drop it for just more stuff, like we were speaking about the points difference. So let's take a look at his path. Shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our Waaaghtaktiks dice. So shout them out. Check them out in description, 5% off in the discount because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. Wordy Boys might get shadowed. Yeah, that's actually a good thing about how Wordy Boys is gonna look when you can kind of have access to their rules for once it's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, it's definitely a thing. So shout out to Tarzan, by the way. I haven't seen this get since I was since Index Hammer when I first started the channel. So let's take a look at his path to victories, and thanks to our boy Devin, we were actually able to see what these missions were. So like I said, we're not gonna spend too much time in these enemy lists because some of these guys have changed. What's up? Whoa! Look, my game wants to bring a stomp. I hear you. All right, we can talk about the new detachment near the end of the video. Just for the gets that are all excited. I'm here for it, and this is live, so we can do whatever we want. So we have Abaddon. This is Creations of Bile. So we have Despoiler, Fabius Bile, Chaos Lord, some cultists, some Legionnaire, 5-man units, a 10-man unit, Chosen, Possessed, and then two Vindicators and some Rhinos. So this list is going to change as well because the Vindicators all went up. This mission was C, so it was Linchpin and Tipping Point. In my opinion, he just straight damaged that Space Marine player, so we'll see how that looks in the future. But it's still subject to, or still wrecking Space Marines if we were to change his list to Mordaka or adjust it slightly with the 70 points that it's increased. So, like I'm saying, like you guys think that the Tactical Brigade's dead, you could keep running Tactical Brigade and enjoying it if you like to order the variety, makes you feel like a cunning kit, or you could just start this with a kind of skeleton of what Mordaka is going to look like, and then of course change it based off the actual detachment ability and the units you have. You're never meant to just strictly copy and paste units. You didn't build it, so you probably don't understand it in depth. But you can understand the validity of a unit, see it actually expressed in practicality, and you can actually kind of be guided and given like a foundation or archetype to your list, and then that way it helps kind of save time and helps people that are maybe intermediate new players. If you're a super high level, you can literally make lists out of anything, write it on a piece of napkin like More Perry does in at a Waffle House parking lot, right? So so who cares? We're all different. Then we have a second one, which is mission 2, which is Gene Stealer Cult. Gene Stealers are crazy. So we have Alkalites, Icon Ward, Biophage, Locust, Magus, and then 2 Reductus Saboteurs. Magus or Magus or Magus or Maggot? I don't know. We have 10-man unit of 2 auto pistol Acolyte hybrids, actually 3 of those guys. And then some dudes with hand flamers, and then the Neophyte hybrids, followed by 2 Goliath truck, 3 Ridge Runner units. One of them is a 2-man unit, 2 bricks and metaphors, and then pure strains. Again, this is just straight damage and aggression when you're playing against Gene Stealers. This mission was taking hold prepare positions in Hammer and Anvil. Very much high aggression. It possibly lay out 6 or 7. From what I was told at this event, you either got 6 or 7. Wasn't assured which one you got. So that's cool. So it was pretty much random, and then your opponent, not everybody got the same one. So I can't say which one he played that one specifically. That's funny because I do have a second stomp available. Me, shout out to my boy Kevin. So maybe the first game I'll just run both stompas just to get it out of the way. So then we have Matt Core with his iron hands. This is the list that he ended up losing to, surprisingly, on the game mission 3. So game 3 was mission K. Again, either layout 6 or 7. This was Scorched Earth, Stalwart, and Search and Destroy. So this was Iron Storm. So we have Tech Marine, 2 units of Assault Intercessors, 3 Lancers, 2 units of 3 units of Infiltrators, 3 units of Infiltrators, 3 Repulsor Executioners, and then 3 Scouts. So this is pretty much one of those things where it was just straight death ball of DACA. Looking at our boy's Tarzan's list, if the terrain didn't allow for him to stage his battle wagons, the tank busters just simply get disembarked and then picked up by repulsors. If they don't get the initiative, these guys are fast. They have a good, nice death ball. They can also blank damage, so there's a chance they actually ended up surviving some of the firepower, especially if you've got the initiative and ended up popping a wagon, for example. And then Gaz, he can be tar pit. They do have the mortal wounds coming off all those little dudes with their mines, I believe they're called, like some kind of brain fart on what the mine was called for these infiltrator guys. So it's funny because just all this DACA that's being spoken about today, yet is it really on the regards of Ironstorm Spearhead and all these vehicles? If your infantry and your units do disembark and then they don't end up docking the enemy off the table, do you just end up getting picked up in response? That's one of the things that I wonder about and think about when I'm looking at the new detachment as well as the Tactical Brigade. And we see here, even in its unnerfed form into a basic Space Marine Iron Hand list, that this one didn't even change. There's a chance that he just, based off the mission layouts and the fact that our units are squishy, if you get first shooting into them, you can kind of just pick everything up. Or if they whiff, then you kind of just pick everything up. If you can't get line of sight, which getting lines of sight for Lancers and repulsors on a couple trucks is way easier than everything in a unit getting out and being able to see, or stuff in a wagon, be able to get in every model being able to see and have the range. So he has range and he has firepower. So I do wonder about that when I look at more DACA. Like, we do have total crazy offensive power, no doubt about it. But is there just some armies that we're going to run into and just kind of get high firepower or out firepowered or outmaneuvered and picked apart and then out firepowered once we're kind of dwindled? That's good food for thought, So then we go to his fourth team, which was mission B, which was Purge the Foe. This was either layout 1 or 2, I believe. There's Smoke and Mirrors and Tipping Point. So again, here was Salamanders. Did this guy end up playing all of our boys? Oh, did I just click Devin? I just clicked Devin. I just picked something silly. I just picked Devin. And then I just picked Devin, guys. I should be looking at Tarzan. Ignore what I just said, because my boy Devin is the one who lost to that. So I was looking at the wrong one for his game 3, because he actually won that. So thank you guys. That was something I was wondering, but I guess Tarzan wondered that. They murdered them, but if they're nerfed, do they still murder them? I don't know. So actually it was the correct list. Didn't misclick, but I did misrepresent them. He win or lost. He actually won. I still think what I said is something of a concern, but now it's a concern for more DACA, or it's a concern for new Tactical Brigade since it's nerfed. So sorry for that. Oops, misspoke. I was clicking too fast. And I see you guys in chat popping off, so you guys are catching my attention. I gotta focus. So we go to his game 4. So game 4, this is pretty traditional for orcs to lose. Game 4 was Purge the Foe, Smoke and Mirrors, and Tipping Point. Thank you. I almost messed that up. And it was against Necron. So I think we can all understand this one, right? So this was the Awakened Dynasty. We have Nightbringer, Luminor Caesarea, Stormlord, Scorpack Destroyer, Scorpack Lord, and then Technomancer. Actually, those are 2 Scorpack Lords. I don't know why I said Destroyer. Those just Destroyer Lords, I guess that's their name. 1 Reanimator, 1 Brick of Wraith Crypto Thralls, 2 Doomstalkers, 1 individual Heavy Locust Destroyer, 2 units of Ophidians, 2 units of Locust Destroyers. Now, I do know some Doomsday arcs went up, but that's about it. So I don't know exactly what's getting taken off this list. Maybe like an enhancement, I guess. And then they can just keep bringing this. So quite potent. Purge the Foe is a big factor. Can actually kill them. Like I said, it was either layout 1 or 2. I'm not sure about that. Purge the Foe is just the nemesis of all orc players. So before I continue and move on and make another mistake, let me make sure I got this one right. So we're gonna pull up his game 5, and I'm gonna acknowledge the chats real quick. So his game 5 was against Drakari. But in the meantime, we got a $5 super chat from Andrew Stone for the generous get. Thank you very much for that. It means a lot, and I know everybody's really excited today. So thank you for joining me, even though it's not specifically more DACA, but we're going to be looking at these lists through the lens of what could be more DACA and with the changes that they've had. So let's not be limited, because there's still so many orc detachments that are still really good, and everybody should be encouraged, even if you don't have 30 Ludas, 30 Flesh Gits, 18 Tank Busters, stuff like that. But it's all good. So thank you very much to Andrew Stone. Great for the support and very generous of you. Whoa. And then we have, of course, Mad Get Wapo with his 5 Waaaghtaktiks memberships. Whoa, the Wapo, the super get. Also, we've actually started only one so far. I've been working on it. I'm going to be continue to work on more videos. We're getting swelled here with all the great information of orcs, but we're doing members only videos. They're nothing super crazy. You guys aren't missing out. I'm not pulling your collar or anything, but there are good videos if you want to just be around more in the Great WAAAGH support, and do more videos that are more just stuff that I feel like covering and doing. So with that being said, thank you very much to Wapo and to Andrew for that. So, and check out those member videos. Leave criticism or feedback on what you guys want. Also, if you get in there for free to make it worth it. Now, let's look at these Drakari real quick. Archon, Trope, Death Jester, Lilith, Incubi, Cabalites, Mandrakes, Trope, Scourge, Witches, 2 Raiders, Coronos, 2 Talos, Ravagers, 2 Reavers. Bam. Typically, they just don't have the output for what was Tactical Brigade back then. That was game 5. Make sure I didn't mess that up. Yeah, because Tarzan lost game 4. Did not go mess that again. Still kind of low on time. You see this 57. This mission was the Ritual, Swift Action, and Crucible. So it could be that Tarzan couldn't really, I don't know, keep his objectives, or it was just holding on to one very close. Like he would make one turn, he could turn 2, he would make the one closest, then move closer to his own deployment zone, try to play more defensive and maybe not move into the Ducati, as he doesn't really want to get picked up, which kept his points kind of low, which is interesting because typically Drakari can't hold primary, and then we want to stop them from doing secondaries. And in this one, so his score was kind of interesting to me. Was it a time issue? Not sure. But it was also possibly layout 2, layout 1, not sure about that. So great job for defeating them, those cheeky Eldar sneaky gits. Then we go into his last game, which was against Tau Auxiliary Cadre. So these guys got a new detachment too. So we have Commander Shadow Sun, Commander Coalstar Battlesuit, Ethereal Fire Team. We got Broadside Battlesuit, Knife Fight Battlesuit, Ghost Keel, Double Hammerhead Gunship, 2 Carnivores, 2 Rampagers, Pathfinder, 2 Battlesuits, and then 3 Vespids. So pretty basic Tau unit. I think, with the meta changing and stuff, we're going to see how this goes. I did not look at it. So then we have a 66-point win there from Tarzan. So great job to that get, again, for pulling it out with this Tactical Brigade. Let's take a look at this list one more time. It is a Big Mech and Meg Armor with Mech Captain, 2 Big Mechs, Check Attack, Gazgul, Thraka, a Mech, 2 War Bosses, 2 5-man units, Stormblaze, 2 Trucks, a Battle Wagon, a 10-man unit of Flash Kits, 2-size unit of Gretchen, 5-man unit of Looters, 2 Mega Knobs, 2 Knob units for the War Bosses, and then 3 Tank Buster units. 2 of those have Sag Mechs. One of them I just have basic mech that jumps out of the Battle Wagon and gives them an order. That way they don't just pay for him as well. Interesting tech in him with that. Now you could drop him, you could drop Ludas, you could just straight up drop the 3rd Tank Buster unit and still had a very viable list for this detachment, or possibly even more DACA. So let's see how this kind of plays out. I love that he has Gaz. Gaz has always slept on this detachment because you think he does his orders are pointless. In reality, he's kind of like your mid-table kind of clear bully, runs up, kind of deals with stuff that's right in your face, kind of helps people respect that line, that barrier of threat range when you have your wall in your pocket. So could become interesting for more DACA as well. So if you're playing Tactical Brigade or you're playing more DACA, be excited, and good job, Tarzan. Is great. Whoa! Be a cunning git and check out our new order markers that are in our store. So shout out to you gits being cunning. Help you guys get all the orders set on the table, nice and clean for all you gits to get stuck in. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!